Hello drum fans, welcome back to the Inner Sanctum. Finally got a working webcam and a good capture program, so I should be a little more regular in posting lessons from here on out. I'm not going to promise anything, of course, but hopefully I'll be a little better. So today's lesson is the first in a series addressing a question that I get a lot, especially at this time of year. Marching band season is coming to a close, and a lot of people say, you know, I've spent all this time working on snare drum, getting my rudiments in shape, but I really want to move into drum set. So do I have to start all over in order to do that? Simple answer, of course, no. Your snare drum rudiments give you a great start on drum set technique as well as snare drum, and that's one more in the huge list of reasons to learn all your rudiments. So this lesson series is going to show you some ideas of where to start using your rudiments at the set. Then you can take my ideas and run with them and probably come up with some licks that are way cooler than anything I'm going to show you. I'll give you the basics to get you started. You run from there. So first step, you want to get just a nice simple groove going. Just a nice 2 and 4 kind of thing, as easy as this. So if you're not to that point yet, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. I've been working on a book for years and years. It's going to be done by the end of this year. I'm just going to put that out there so now you can hold me accountable to that. So you can get started on learning how to build up grooves. But if you've been in marching band, you can move your feet while you're moving your hands. You shouldn't be too far off from doing a simple groove like that. You can even take the 8th note out, just play 1 and 3. Easy. So once you got a good basic groove established, you can start putting the rudiments into that groove to spice them up a little bit. You can also use the rudiments as the basis of fill patterns in between your grooves. Today we're going to focus on putting them into the groove itself. So we're going to start at the top of the list. Rudiment number 1, the single stroke roll. Now there's a PDF of these exercises on my site if you want to visually, see what's going on. So if you're looking at this on YouTube or something like that, go to my site, grab that. If you're on my site, it should be up there, down there, over there somewhere. So download that and you'll be able to see what we're doing as well as hear it. So first thing I'm going to do is put a single stroke 5, just a 5-note single stroke roll on the and of 4. Okay, so both hands are going to be on the hi-hat, and that's going to lead me back into beat 1 when I repeat it. So this is the first measure on that notation sheet. From there, you can take that little 5-stroke roll, 5-stroke single, and bump that back to each 8th note position within the measure. So if we bump it back to beat 4, you have to do a little back and forth action to keep the snare backbeat in the measure. So this is another reason why your drum teacher always says, play the notes from the wrist and finger, not from the arm. Okay? If I play with the roll with only my wrist and fingers, then I move my arm from the snare drum to the hi-hat. My hands never know the difference. Okay? It's like you're tricking the hands into thinking nothing's changed. So anything you can play on one surface, you can play on 2, you can play on 5, you can play on 15, you can play it all around the kit however you want to do it. Your hands never know the difference, so all you have to do is play the note you know and then move your arms to get to the different voices on the kit. Okay? So here's measure 2, putting the roll on beat 4. Okay, Okay, if you put it on the and of 3, it's backwards. You end on the snare. So the measure goes like this. Okay, and then on through the rest of the measure, just bump back an eighth note at a time and get every position taken care of. Now for a little bonus, I didn't actually write this on the sheet, but I was working on this with one of my students last week, and he pointed out that some of these sound really good if you put a little hi-hat splash on the end of the roll. I like that, especially on the ones where the roll starts on the beat and ends on the and. So like this would be measure 4 on the sheet. So I'm starting the roll on beat 3, ending on the and of 3. So if I open up the hi-hat at the end of that, put in a little splash, it gives the roll a nice ending, but it also keeps a lot of forward momentum going in your measure so that the roll doesn't feel like it bogs it down. You can also keep the roll going longer. You can play a 9-stroke roll if you got the chops to pull it off, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'll put a 9-stroke on beat 3, so I'm going to end on 4 on the snare drum. Okay, you can go shorter. You could do a 3-stroke. So you can put that anywhere around there. You can split your hands between 2 voices on the roll. I like doing it between the ride cymbal and the hi-hat, so you can got a tambourine that works. If you got a tambourine on the left side and put that on the inside notes of the roll, that can be, it's cool. It's weird, but it's cool. So, you know, whatever voices you've got going around the kit, try out moving your hands around to that. You don't want to get too notey where it's just, you know, it sounds like that metal fill where you just do that huge single stroke roll around the toms. That's a lot of notes, you know. But if you want just something for a little spice, just throw a little something in there and see what you can come up with. No matter where you're playing it, whether where in the measure or where physically you're playing it, the key to all of it is the notes are played with the wrist and fingers. The voices are played with the arm, right? So use the arm to get you where you're going, but play the note just from the wrist and fingers, and then you can put it on any surface in the drum set because your hands aren't going to know the difference, okay? So that's it for this time. See what you can come up with. If you come up with something just totally awesome, send me a link to it or send me an audio file, something like that. I'd love to hear it. If you have questions, comments, send those in as well, and I'll try to address those in future lessons. And from here, we're just going to move on down the list. We're going to go through the next set of rudiments and see if we can get all 40 of them covered. So, practice. You take it from there and run with it. I keep wanting to say take it and roll with it. That would be absolutely wrong, so I'm not going to say that. But that's it for this time. We'll see you next time back in the Inner Sanctum.